What's up, guys? It's Caliber here.
And the Beast.
And we're coming to talk about everybody's favorite topic, and that is gun control.
Yay.
So, I want to go ahead and start off by saying I think gun control is, or at least banning the AR-15 per se, I think it's all about looks, the way the gun looks. It has nothing to do with the way it functions, although some people want to make it about the way it functions. So, we're going to talk about the way it functions real quick. So, an semi-automatic rifle, I'm dropping the term assault rifle because it has not assaulted anyone. That's like the dumbest term coined for guns is, well, assault rifle. No. Can it be used to assault somebody? Yes. But it in itself does not assault someone. Guns don't just come up and shoot themselves. We have guns in the house. My grandfather has a 380 and my mom has a 9mm. I don't think those guns have ever killed anyone yet. Might have to keep an eye on those. But the way a semi-automatic works is one trigger pull, or one bullet per trigger pull. So you have to keep pulling the trigger. And that's also another thing I'm going to have to get into this. You don't pull a trigger, you squeeze a trigger. You pull it, you're gonna fuck your shot all up. That I learned because my mom used to work armed security. When you squeeze the trigger, you don't pull it. So we're just going to go ahead and get some terminologies right here. You never squeeze, or you never pull the trigger, you squeeze it. But it's one bullet per trigger pull. So you have to keep firing it. You have to keep manually squeezing the trigger. Alright, so everybody, I've seen some people who have talked about how 223 is this big, almighty, powerful round. But I'm going to tell you something right here. All it is a overly glorified 22 with the pointy tip. That's it. Of course, it's running at a faster or higher velocity than, say, a 22. That's because it has a higher charge behind it. But you take them side by side, and they're pretty much the same fucking diameter. Now, I have a little bullet collection going on here. And 3 of the major rounds I have is a 7.62 by 39, which is a 30 caliber.
Well, the metric version of it.
Yeah, the metric version of it, but it's still 30 caliber nonetheless.
It's around the same, yeah.
30-30, which is again also a 30 caliber, and then a 30-06, which again is a 30 caliber. So here's the 7.62 by 39. Now compare that to, compare that to a compare that to a 30-30. 30-30 is much bigger. Now we take the 30-30, which is also a 30 caliber. Hang on. When you learn to pick up stuff with your feet, that's when you've mastered life.
There you go.
And then a 30-06 is much bigger than a 30-30. But all 3 of these bullets right here, all 3 of these, are around the same diameter.
Right.
This has a little bit of charge in here. About, I'd say about, what, that much? Maybe that much?
It would be in the where it flares out.
Alright, so say about that much.
Yep.
And then this has this much, which is much more. And then this has this much. Well, this much. So this has more charge than the 30-30. 30-30 has more charge or more gunpowder than a 7.62 by 39. And that's pretty much it. This round, it's 10 times more. Well, I can't say 10, but it's a lot more powerful than a 223. This is a common round used for hunting.
Right, it's a bigger diameter bullet. So
but you guys want to know another thing that has more damage, that can deal more damage than a 223? Your average 12 gauge shotgun. This is actually a heavy magnum load. This is a magnum right here. You won't be able to see it, but it's a magnum.
Yeah.
Magnum 3-inch shells. 3-inch shells, 3-inch magnums. This will deal more damage. And then with the shotgun, you have a spread pattern.
Right.
So everything gets peppered. That's the gun term, peppered. Pepper them with a shotgun.
Right.
This will do more damage, but nobody wants to ban these.
It's a tool.
They're all tools. Everybody says the AR-15 is designed for killing. Okay, yeah, I mean you can go on that route and be like, yeah, all right. Its intentional purpose was to kill, but people use it for sports shooting now.
It's a recreational firearm at this point.
Yeah.
Originally, when it first was designed, Armalite tried to get a government contract.
Mm-hmm.
They was unsuccessful in doing so, so they went for the commercial market. So it's always been a commercial gun for a firearm, and it's just been geared towards like a recreational shooting enthusiast, really.
Yeah.
Or home defensive, in defense mode or whatever that is. So honestly, there's purposes for it. Again, firearms are a tool, just like any other tool. They have a purpose. They have a specific job. I mean, you wouldn't try to screw in something into a wall with a hammer
or a knife. Well, no, I take that back. Sometimes I do use my knives for that purpose.
Right, but the point is, the screwdriver would make it a lot better and easier, right?
Yeah.
Just like you could defend your house with a kitchen knife, but the firearm would probably be a little bit more efficient.
And then I tell everybody this: me and Tara, we have opposing gun views, which isn't a bad thing. Because I understand her point, she understands my point. I don't like her point, she doesn't like my point. But we respect each other's points, and that's really what it needs to boil down to. Okay, this person wants to get rid of guns. Okay, that's fine. Tell me how that works out. Tell me if gun crime goes down. Well, this person's like, and this person's over here talking to the other person like, we already banned assault rifles in the 1980s, and guess what? Gun crimes did not go down.
It also. A lot of it's the argument back and forth. A lot of it is you have to look at the fact that both of you have the same goal. Really, the argument is about how you guys complete that said goal. And that, that's actually a good thing. I mean, at least there's a debate room in that situation because you both are trying to strive for the same outcome. Just depends on how you want to, like how you're going to go about it. When you guys have different goals, that's when it becomes a different issue altogether.
Yeah.
So as long as everybody has, when it comes to gun control, fortunately everybody has the same goal set in mind. It's about protecting their loved ones the safest way possible and making sure that violence doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Pretty much what that boils down to.
But I'm gonna tell you right now. Now they want to ban the AR-15s. Once the AR-15s are banned, then they're gonna go after shotguns, then handguns, and then revolvers. And what are we gonna be left with? Fucking muzzle loaders and fucking black powder revolvers?
Probably.
And guess what? Guess what the criminal's gonna have? They're gonna have all these guns that were banned.
Right, because they don't follow the law. See, laws only affect the people who follow them. That's just, I mean, look at the war on drugs. Drugs are illegal.
Murder's illegal, but yet people still kill.
Right. There's always going to be somebody that has malcontent or a malice towards anybody, somebody, or in just general upbringing, are going to be nasty people in the world.
Mm-hmm.
You can't stop that.
No, you can't.
And it could have been somebody that stroked the wrong way one day. Fucking snaps. You can't account for that. It's all randomized.
Yeah, and then there's people who want sensible gun control, like better background checks and all this. The problem with that is, and Beast actually brought this up to me, the problem with that is we already have those in place. They're just not heavily enforced.
Right.
So why pile more laws and regulations on top of it if it's not going to be enforced? It's counterproductive.
Right. I mean, like, the only thing that they're really suggesting at this point now is literally getting access to our medical records in general. It's like, if we're diagnosed with a violent diagnosis, like with like some kind of like mental illness to makes us violent, and we're prone to be violent, then you're not able to own a firearm or purchase a firearm anyway. That's already something that's already a thing. But to ask about somebody who's not feeling, they're 100%,
Yeah.
like you're kind of a little depressed and you take a little bit of an antidepressant, all of a sudden that becomes a questionable thing. I don't know.
Hang on, I'm trying to find something.
Oh, go ahead. While you're looking that up, it's like, it's all about looks, but I'm gonna show a picture here. This is of a Mossberg 715T, and it is a 22 caliber, and it looks pretty menacing. People probably would look at this firearm and they would absolutely freak out about it. But honestly, again, the caliber that it shoots it's a rimfire 22 long rifle. But because it looks like a menacing gun, this is the one that they're going to attack more than, say, like something that looks like a hunting rifle.
Yeah. And in the case of that, they want to ban the AR-15, which is chambered in 223, but nobody bats an eye at the Ruger Mini 14, which is also chambered in, you guess it, 223.
I mean, I don't want them to go after it either. But I mean, I don't want to go after any. I don't want to go after any firearm. I believe my strong stance has always been this, and this is all key. If you are physically, mentally, and legally able to own a firearm and are willing to do so, and that's what you want to do, you should have the right to have that. Because, again, you're legally allowed to obtain it, you're physically able to maintain the demand and hold things properly, and mentally stable enough to have it where you make good, conscious decisions. If those things are met, as an American citizen, you have the right to have a firearm to me. If you're a person that doesn't want to have a firearm, well, don't have one. That's your decision. That's your God-given right for you're allowed to do whatever you want to do. If you don't think that you would be proper to have a firearm because you're afraid of it, well, don't get it. If you think that you're going to compromise your safety because of having one, that's obviously you cannot handle a firearm. You should not get one.
Here's a perfect example of what he was talking about with the medical records thing. So I watch a female here on YouTube. Her name is Liberty Doll, and she's like, she was anti-gun, then she became pro-gun, which is fucking awesome. I encourage people to at least try out firearms, just so they can know more about them when they're trying to propose these gun regulations. It's just common sense. But this was posted on January 19, 2019. Will MA require doctors to ask about guns? And if you go to the description of that video, if you don't want to watch the video, basically what's going on is Boston Mayor Marty Walsh is pushing for a state law that would require doctors to ask all their patients if they own a gun.
The thing about firearms, the government already knows if you own a firearm or not. Whenever you purchase a firearm, if it goes on public, you are registered that gun to you. That gun is registered to you by the serial number of the firearm. So, until you sell that firearm, then you do the ownership transfer, then that firearm's already licensed to you. So the government knows you already have the gun, but so let's just not pussyfoot around it.
Well, I think the reason why they're doing that is for a mental health standpoint of it.
Well, if the point of the matter is, if they're wanting them. Why does a doctor need to know what firearms I have in my house? If they deem that I'm not capable of having a firearm, then they would put that on my medical records that they're already that would already be given to the government anyway.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems like a half-assed thing around it. It's like, why do I have to project more and more things to people who don't need to know? I don't tell people.
Well, here's the caveat to that, Beast. So if the psychiatrist, therapist, whatever, deems you're unfit to have guns, well, they can notify the police and your guns can be seized. And that's what I gathered from it.
Well, that's fine and dandy, but then here's the thing. you doing that puts like not only is the good guys or the cops that would be able to do something about it, say that they don't deem that you're unfit for them, right? But now the information is out there that you have such and such firearms, such and such this, and how many firearms you have, and blah 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 blah. So instead of being like, obviously it's not hard to say that I have firearms, right?
Right.
But I don't go around saying how many I have. I don't say what I do. I don't even say what I own. I do that
The only
because
people you talk to about your gun is mainly me.
Sure,
Because we have that common interest. But you're not going to walk up to a random person and be like, hey, I own this many guns. Like,
right,
only a psychopath would do that.
Well, it also takes away that means it makes you a mark. They know how many firearms you have. That makes you a mark.
Yeah.
If you got something they want, they would literally know how much firepower you have, and that makes you an easier target.
Mm-hmm.
The not knowing how many firearms somebody has, or if they do have a firearm or not, just that general not knowing is a perfect deterrent for home invaders.
Yeah.
They're not knowing what to expect. But if it's broadcasted everywhere about how many you have, and if you don't have them or do, it gives them more of like they can weigh out their options more. Like, well, he's only got this and this, so let's just go ahead and bust in his house. That's all we got to look out for.
Yeah. And then you also have to look at it from this standpoint. Thieves will steal guns. They will. So nobody in their right mind. I'm half and half on this. I believe people should be open carrying, should be able to open carry. That I believe that. But then it also puts a target on your back. Say if somebody comes in and they see somebody comes in with a gun and they see you have a gun. Well, guess what? You're the first person they're going to be taking out. So you got to have cat-like reflexes.
Well, I believe in open carry just because of this reason here. I think it should become more of a norm. I don't like the concept of this concealed carry bullshit, not knowing that somebody's armed. And the reason I don't, it's not the fact that I can care less if somebody's armed. I really don't give a shit. It's the fact of, if it was more openly known that people were armed that do carry, it would be less of likely of a chance that somebody would come in and for a gun crime because they notice that, oh, there's 5 people in there that have firearms. There's 5 people I have to deal with before I'm the only one with a gun. Yeah. So it's a deterrent. You see what you're up against, and then and then also with open carry, you're more able to use that firearm in a situation. Say that you're at somebody tries to rob you at gunpoint, you have your firearm right there and ready to go. Again, I wouldn't have it to where it's like an open style holster. I would have it to where, there's a clip or some kind of safety feature that makes it so somebody can't like literally pull it out of your holster. I mean, that's just kind of common sense there, but.
Well, they make holsters like that for like locks and shit that you have to press a lever.
Exactly.
And there's some you have to press a lever and press something else in order to get the pistol out of your holster. So there's holsters like that, but the problem with those is they're expensive.
Well, there's that. I mean, even other than that, it used to be the norm for people to open carry because it's a right to you and me right now have the right to open carry anytime we want.
Yeah.
That's just there's obviously you still have to follow the same laws as anybody else does. You can't carry a firearm when it's posted, blah blah blah. I mean, that's just any type of deal you would deal with. But I just think it's a right. We used to be okay with it as just general public. Mm-hmm. It's just like you see the dude carrying a firearm. It's like it's no big deal. Now the only people you see with firearms now are officers. And when
when somebody does open carry, the cops get called.
Exactly, because they don't know their own law. A lot of people don't know the fact that they're legal to open carry within their.
Some states that do it. Some states it is legal to open carry, but there's others that isn't legal to open carry. You can't take our word for everything. You just have to look up the laws in your area.
Right. Yeah, you have to look at your laws in your area. But if you're able to open carry per your state guidelines, which I know in my state you're allowed to, and I don't know very much about Louisiana, but I mean, like, well, you know.
Well, see, there's some states now. Keep in mind, I don't know what these states are, but there is some states where you do have to be 21 to buy a handgun, but you can be 18 and openly carry a handgun.
See, I don't know. I don't know anything about that. All I know is, I know the purchase rate. I know the 18 you could buy a shotgun.
Yeah.
I believe you could buy maybe even a 22 caliber, maybe. But I know that handguns you have to be 21 and older, and on our state to buy.
Our state's the same, but I did see. I watched a guy who's Mike the Cop, and like he even said like some states will permit you to carry a handgun at 18. You just can't purchase it. Which I think I think having to be 21 to purchase a fucking handgun is stupid in the get-go because, well, all these 18-year-olds can go off to war. And guess what they carry over there? A fucking handgun.
Well, that's absolutely true. But I'm not opposed to this either, and like this is some people's idea about it, and I think it's not bad because when you get your hunting license, right, you go through a hunting course, right? Mm-hmm. I mean that's how you obtain your hunting license. When you get if you want to be able to open carry, and I believe you can open carry every time you want to, but I don't think it's a bad idea. I don't know if it should be mandatory, but I definitely think it's a good idea to go through like a gun training course, or at least have some form of a knowledge of it before you even handle one. I mean, some people don't have the option. I mean, obviously, like, people who grew up with firearms are going to be more prone to have firearms only because that's what they're used to, and they've been taught from a young age how to safely handle one, proper gun etiquette, and they're not afraid to be around one, opposed to a person who's been raised in a family background that opposes that idea.
Yeah,
and
like,
it's kind of got like a sketch view on it.
But case in point, when I was younger, my grandfather had bought an SKS. But when I was younger, he bought me 410 shotgun.
Right.
410 22. Personally, I was scared to shoot the 410 portion of it because I know shotguns usually have a little bit of a kick to them, even a 410, especially with me being about yay high, say about that high.
Right.
So I lean more towards the 22 because 22, it's cheap and it's fun to shoot.
Oh, it's a little Plinkster gun, yeah, it's fantastic.
But it was just a little 410 22 break action. It had two different barrels.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's really nice to.
I asked my grandfather. I'd asked him a while back. I said, "Hey, do you still have my shotgun?" No, he sold it. He sold it to somebody. The barrel is rusted out and everything. So, high humidity here. Humidity will fucking destroy a gun.
Yeah, the thing about firearms is this. Again, like we talked about before, it's a tool.
Yeah.
Learning how to use it properly is absolutely key. I mean, you wouldn't want to go in there and not know how to use like a certain tool for a job, and then you just kind of break it. That's for one, it's dangerous, and two, it's just not smart.
But no, I understand where you're coming from. It's just people need to train on the like if you can find somebody that has that specific weapon, go to the range, train with them. Then if you like that weapon, go ahead and buy it.
Yeah, exactly. And but what I'm getting at is, I think that people should just I have kids, so I teach them to be at the age they are right now. I don't let them around firearms, but they know they're around them.
Yeah.
But they know not to touch them. They know it's a bad thing. That something bad could happen when they don't know how to handle it. So I teach them at this point not to handle them at all. Don't be around it. Don't even be in the same. If you see it out,
schools. I don't know too much about now, but when we were growing up, they would teach you like, hey, if you find a gun, tell somebody.
Exactly, and that's But again, once they get a little older, I'm going to teach them the safety proper way to handle firearms.
Yeah.
And the reason is because they might not want to own firearms themselves personally, but if they ever get in a situation where they're at a friend's house, they see something like that, they're not going to be all skittish and, maybe think, oh, it'd be cool to touch that, or whatever, and they, shoot one of their faces off. They're going to be the smart, logical type, be like,
Yeah.
hey, let's go talk to your mom. Let's go see what the heck this is about. We don't touch this. That's what I want them to be. If they get in the situation, they know how to handle it, and that's just kind of how I want.
Also, I do want to touch on one note. This isn't, obviously, this is going to be on air guns. I'd actually watched a video. Forgot what the name of the video is. Don't quote me on it. But it was this guy who owns a gun shop, right? He's talking about how BB and pellet guns need to be more regulated. I mean, most places, pellet guns in Walmart, you have to be 16 to buy, and I think you have to provide picture ID as well. And I don't know too much about the pellet rifles here, but these guys, hang on, these guys right here are locked in a thing. Why? Do you know why? They're more realistic looking.
Yeah.
I honestly think you should be a certain age to buy a pellet gun because those can do a lot of damage as well.
Right.
It's not like airsoft where you shoot somebody with a plastic BB, oh, that's it. When you shoot somebody with a pellet gun, you're probably going to make a trip to a hospital.
Yeah.
I know this because I accidentally shot my sister in her fucking toe.
Right, mishaps can happen like that. That's what that could happen with anything. I do. Side note, just to put it out there, we're not condoning the fact that you shoot somebody with an airsoft gun. By the way, just
no, I don't. I mean, I used to do it, but it's even some of the higher powered airsoft guns. You can get BBs lodged into your fucking skin.
Oh yeah, you can absolutely.
Anything with a higher velocity it's gonna fucking hurt.
Oh yeah.
Just like up where Taro lives, they deal with a lot of paintball. I don't think airsoft's that prevalent up there, but they deal with a lot of paintball, and they actually had there was this paintball arena type thing that she knows about. And a kid had actually died from paintball because some little snot-nosed brat, 14-year-old, I believe the kid was 6, I could be wrong. Baby, if you watch this, please correct me on this. But it was an older kid, about 14. He decides he wants to freeze his paintballs. Nobody fucking checked him. Nobody checked his gear or anything like that. He shot a kid in the head. The kid died.
Wow.
But, no. All in all, gun control won't work. Now, I do want to point something out. The reason why I particularly own pellet guns instead of actual rifles is because, well, I have mental illness. I have ADHD, I have bipolar, depression and all that. And I don't feel comfortable with me owning a firearm. Yes, when I was younger, my mom applied to get me a shotgun. But that would actually, I still kick myself in the ass for not waiting for the or for being impatient and just buying a compound bow. But I wish I would have waited because it was a shotgun for like $170 something, 12 gauge, took 3-inch shells, or could take 3-inch shells.
Right,
It was one of those little Savage shotguns.
Oh, Savage is good.
But it had a pistol grip on it and everything. It was a really nice shotgun. But like I said, I kicked myself in the ass for that. But I'm kind of glad that I didn't get it because with what I know now, I don't feel fit to own a firearm.
Right.
Also, you can't shoot... Alright, so a lot of people talk shit about pellet guns and air guns and all that, right? As this one guy said, go out into your residential backyard and shoot your 9mm. Watch how fast you'll get the cops called on you. Or, better yet, see how that works out for you.
Yep.
I can shoot this gun, my pellet guns, all day. Nobody bats an eye. Although I was really nervous with this one because of how realistic it looks. So I'm sitting there in the backyard trying to duck down to load it. It was fucking funny. But no, if somebody sees this and they're not paying attention to the end of the barrel, they're going to assume it's a real firearm. It takes shells and everything. It looks real.
Oh, yeah.
But I know what it is. Beast knows what it is. And, yeah, but I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like down below. Don't forget to comment, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe to S13_The Beast. And don't forget to hit that notification bell to be alerted when I upload a new video. Anyways, guys, this is Beast and Caliber signing out.
Nice.